Did you know that according to global travel surveys, nearly 80% of non-native English speakers experience severe anxiety or just freeze up completely when asked a simple, unexpected question at a hotel front desk?
80%. I mean, that is just a staggering statistic.
It really is. But, honestly, if you've ever traveled internationally, it makes perfect logical sense.
Oh, absolutely.
Think about it. You've just spent like 12 hours in a pressurized metal tube flying across the ocean.
Yeah, and you're dragging 50 pounds of heavy luggage behind you.
Exactly. You're completely exhausted. Your internal clock is screaming that it's 3 a.m, and suddenly you're face to face with a receptionist in a crisp uniform speaking at lightning speed.
Firing off all these questions.
Right. Questions about deposits, incidentals, digital room keys, and vehicle registration. And suddenly your brain just stops working.
It's the front desk freeze. The English you know perfectly well at home just vanishes.
It really does. Welcome to Everyday English Flow. Daily English practice, natural speaking, and effortless listening flow. Today, we have a clear mission.
We really do. We are going to master 4 main categories of hospitality, decode 5 high-level C1 vocabulary words, and practice 8 essential phrasal verbs that will make you sound like a native speaker.
And if you are learning English to travel, work, or, explore the world, you are in the right place.
You absolutely are, because mastering this specific vocabulary doesn't just help you get a room. I mean, it gives you confidence, respect, and the freedom to truly enjoy your journey.
Exactly. You are capable of effortless communication, and today we will build that bridge together.
It is widely believed by hospitality experts that the barrier at the front desk isn't a lack of general English skill.
Wait, really? It's not the skill level.
No, not at all. The people freezing up are often highly proficient. The issue is simply a lack of exposure to the highly specific, highly contextual, and, well, sometimes intentionally confusing language of the hotel industry.
It's like a specialized dialect, right?
Exactly, a dialect of customer service. And that is exactly what we are going to fix today in this deep dive.
Yes. We are going to completely eliminate that front desk freeze. We'll walk you through the entire spatial experience of a hotel stay, step by step.
From the moment your rental car pulls up, right to the moment you head back to the airport.
But before you even step foot inside the hotel lobby, there is one critical interaction you have to navigate outside the doors. What is the exact phrase you need to hand over your car keys without panicking? We'll unpack that right now.
Let's set the scene visually and linguistically. You've just arrived.
Okay, I'm picturing it. I'm pulling my vehicle up to the massive awning at the front entrance.
Right. Now, depending on the architecture of the hotel, you generally have 2 options for your car. The first is the standard parking lot.
Which is pretty straightforward, right?
Very. A parking lot is simply the paved outdoor area where you find an empty parking spot and, well, park the car yourself.
It's usually free, but, it can be a massive hassle.
Oh, totally. Like, if the lot is completely full or if the weather is terrible and you have to drag suitcases through the freezing rain.
Nobody wants to do that. So what's the second option?
The second option, which is incredibly common at higher-end hotels or resorts, is valet parking.
Okay, I always have a moment of hesitation with that word. Valet.
Oh, the pronunciation trips everyone up.
Right, because it's spelled V-A-L-E-T. When you first see it written out, your brain desperately wants to make it rhyme with mallet or wallet.
But because of its French origins in American English, that T is completely silent. We say valet-y.
Valet-y. It is fascinating how the hospitality industry borrows so heavily from French just to signal luxury.
It really is. So the valet is the special service where an employee actually takes your car, drives it away, and parks it in a secure location for you.
Which is incredibly convenient when you're tired. But it introduces a whole new set of interactive vocabulary.
It does. When you pull up to the curb, the valet will usually approach your window, lean down, and ask a very standard industry question. They'll say, "Would you like to valet the vehicle today?"
And if you say yes to that, you're initiating a very specific transaction. They're going to ask for your last name and then hand you a valet ticket.
Right. Now, historically, like 10 or 15 years ago, this was literally a small, brightly colored piece of paper with a giant number on it.
Oh, I remember those. If you lost that piece of paper, you had a massive logistical problem getting your car back. It was so stressful.
Highly stressful. But today, it is widely believed by hospitality experts that physical paper is rapidly becoming obsolete.
Thank goodness. So what do they do now?
Modern hotels have almost entirely transitioned to a digital system. They might hand you a reusable plastic card with a custom QR code printed on it.
Oh, wow. So how does that work?
The valet will just say, all you have to do is scan that QR code using your phone camera when you want your car back. Or they might just ask for your cell phone number.
And they text you a link.
Exactly. They tell you to send a text message with your ticket number when you're ready to leave. It instantly links your physical vehicle to your smartphone.
Which brings us to our very first phrasal verb of the day. And it's a phrase that is absolutely essential for this exact moment on the curb. Drop off.
Drop off. Yes.
Okay, let's unpack this because phrasal verbs are notorious for tripping up even advanced learners.
Yeah.
I used to get so confused by the word drop.
Because of the physical meaning?
Right. When I hear drop, I think of gravity. I think of holding a glass of water, opening my hand, and watching it shatter on the floor.
Yeah, that's the literal definition.
But we obviously aren't lifting a car into the air and dropping it on the pavement. So what is the linguistic mechanics behind this?
It's a great observation. In the evolution of the English language, drop moved from a strictly physical action to a metaphorical action.
Metaphorical how?
It means depositing or leaving something at a specific destination. When you drop off a car, you are removing it from your possession and leaving it in the care of someone else.
Ah, so it removes the gravity, but keeps the suddenness of the transition.
Exactly. You can drop off your car, you can drop off a package at the post office, or you can drop off your kids at school.
But what's really fascinating here for B2 and C1 learners is the grammatical structure, right?
Yeah. Drop off is what we call a separable phrasal verb.
Ah, the separable rule. This is where fluency really shows. This means you can take the object, in this scenario, your car, and place it right in between the two words.
Yes, or you can place it after them.
So, standing there on the curb, I can look at my travel companion and say, I just dropped my car off. Or I can say, I dropped off my car.
And both of those sentences are 100% grammatically correct.
And more importantly, they sound completely natural to a native speaker.
Precisely. However, there is a rigid grammatical trap here involving pronouns.
Oh, right. The pronoun trap.
If you've already been talking about the car and you replace the noun with the pronoun it, that pronoun absolutely must go in the middle.
So I have to say, I dropped it off.
Exactly. You must say, I dropped it off. If you say, I dropped off it, a native speaker will instantly recognize it as an error.
The flow of the sentence just breaks completely.
Yeah.
I dropped off it. Yeah, that sounds terrible. I dropped it off.
That is such a critical nuance to internalize. The rhythm of dropped it off is almost musical in everyday English flow.
And the opposite action is equally important. Tomorrow, when you are ready to leave the hotel, you don't drop off your car. You pick up your car.
Or, following the pronoun rule, you pick it up.
Pick it up. Perfect. But let's stay in the present moment. You've stepped out of the vehicle. You have dropped it off. The valet employee takes your keys.
Let's imagine he's a friendly guy named Grant.
Okay, Grant takes my keys. He looks at my heavy suitcases in the trunk, and he says something to me that is specifically designed to lower my blood pressure.
What does he say?
He says, welcome. My name is Grant, and I'll be taking care of your vehicle and your luggage today.
Which brings us to a fantastic multi-layered idiom, take care of.
Take care of. Intermediate learners almost always misunderstand this one.
They do, because of how they were first taught it. In introductory English classes, you learn take care of strictly in the context of health or babysitting.
Right, like, I need to take care of my sick grandmother, or can you take care of my dog while I'm on vacation?
Exactly. In that context, it implies nurturing, looking after a living being. It's a very emotional, tender phrase.
But in the context of American business and hospitality, it completely sheds that emotional tenderness.
Yes, it takes on a highly professional, operational meaning. It means to handle a task, to manage a complex responsibility, or to process a service on behalf of someone else.
That is a perfect example of how context completely changes the definition.
It really is. Like if you're at a restaurant and a waiter says, I'll take care of your bill, they aren't wrapping your bill in a blanket to nurse it back to health.
That would be hilarious, but no. They're telling you that they are physically processing your payment.
So if Grant the valet says, I'll take care of your luggage, he means he's going to physically manage the heavy lifting.
He'll put it on a cart, transport it safely to your room, so you do not have to worry about it.
In customer service psychology, it's meticulously designed to give the listener profound peace of mind.
I love that. When an employee says, I'll take care of it, the direct psychological translation is, I am assuming total responsibility for this burden. You are now free to relax.
The entire goal of luxury hospitality is that transfer of burden.
And relaxing is exactly what you want to do. You want to stretch your legs. But before you can truly collapse onto a soft mattress, you have to survive the most intimidating part of the arrival sequence.
The front desk.
Yes. You leave the valet behind, you walk through the sliding glass doors, and you enter the lobby.
The lobby is that large, open, often highly decorated reception area near the main entrance.
And right in that lobby, usually positioned dead center to command authority, you find the front desk, the nerve center of the hotel.
I know you have a great analogy for this part.
I do. I always explain to people that approaching a hotel front desk is remarkably similar to approaching a formal border crossing into a new country.
It really feels like that. The mechanics are almost identical.
Think about the psychology of a border crossing. The immigration agent wants to see 3 very specific things from you.
Right. They need your official documents to prove your identity.
They need proof of your funds to prove you won't become a financial burden.
And they need your verified reason for being in their territory.
Exactly. And the hotel front desk is the exact same triad. You need your documents, which is your ID or driver's license. You need your proof of funds, your credit card. And you need your reason for being there, your reservation.
That analogy perfectly captures the tension of the moment. You feel like you're being evaluated.
Which definitely contributes to that 80% anxiety statistic we talked about earlier.
Definitely. And speaking of that triad, this raises a very common linguistic question I hear from advanced learners constantly.
Oh, about booking versus reservation.
Yes. They look at travel websites, they talk to agents, and they hear these 2 different words. They ask, what is the true difference between a reservation and a booking? Are they the exact same thing?
I've wondered this myself. You hear people say, I have a reservation under Smith, and the next person says, I have a booking for 3 nights, and the receptionist treats them exactly the same.
Right.
Why do we have 2 distinct words for the same action?
To understand why, we have to look at the subtle linguistic history. In modern everyday English, you are absolutely right. They are almost entirely synonymous.
So if I say, I'd like to make a booking, the staff won't bat an eye.
Not at all. They understand exactly what you mean. However, historically, booking leans heavily toward the administrative, clerical act of securing a transaction.
Like writing it in a physical book.
Exactly. Think about the root word, book. Before computers, a clerk literally had to open a massive physical ledger and write your name down to secure the financial transaction.
Ah, that makes so much sense. That's why you book a flight or book a train ticket. You're securing passage in a ledger.
Right. Reservation, on the other hand, comes from the idea of holding physical space in reserve.
Like reserving a table at a crowded restaurant so no one else can sit there.
Yes, or reserving a specific suite in a hotel. One is about the transaction. The other is about the physical space.
But today, with digital systems, the transaction and the holding of space happen simultaneously. So the lines have just completely blurred.
Exactly. As a B2 or C1 learner, you can confidently use either word. The agent will just smile and ask for your last name.
Okay, here is where the narrative usually takes a stressful turn. This is the exact moment where the front desk freeze really happens.
The credit card moment.
Yes. The agent asks for your name, they type it in, they nod, and then they ask you to hand over your credit card. And this is where we need to introduce our first major C1 vocabulary word of the deep dive.
A word that causes widespread panic if you don't know what it means. Incidentals.
Incidentals. I remember the very first time I checked into a high-end hotel in New York City. I was in my 20s. I had prepaid for the room online weeks ago.
So you thought you were completely paid up.
Exactly. The agent asked for my card, swiped it, handed it back. A minute later, my phone buzzed with an alert from my bank, a $250 charge.
Oh.
I panicked. I thought, I already paid for the room. What are you charging me for? Are there hidden resort fees? Is this a scam? I just didn't understand the system.
Your reaction is incredibly common, and it's entirely based on a lack of vocabulary context. Incidentals is a crucial C1 word for navigating the modern world.
So let's break down the etymology.
Yeah.
How is the hospitality industry using this word to manipulate perception?
Well, the root word is incident, which simply means an event, an occurrence, or something that happens.
Right.
Incidental as an adjective describes something happening as a minor accompaniment to something else. It implies that the thing is secondary, unimportant, or not the main focus.
But in hotel vocabulary, incidentals is used as a plural noun, right?
Yes. It refers to any extra financial costs you might incur during your stay that are entirely separate from the base room rate.
By calling them incidentals, the hotel is psychologically framing these potential costs as minor, trivial little things, even though they can be quite expensive.
Right. They are framing it as, oh, it's no big deal because you already paid for the room. But the hotel needs a financial guarantee, a safety net.
Exactly. They need to know that if you consume extra things inside their ecosystem, you have the ability to pay for them.
So the agent will look at you with a perfectly calm expression and say, I just need a credit card on file to cover any incidentals during your stay. What are some real-world examples of incidentals?
It could be opening the minibar at 2 a.m. and eating a $12 chocolate bar.
Or ordering a heavy room service breakfast to be delivered in bed.
It could be sending your business suit out for emergency dry cleaning or renting a pay-per-view movie.
And they don't just write down your credit card number, do they?
No, they actively use your credit card to place a deposit or a temporary hold on your funds.
A pre-authorization. They place a temporary freeze on your credit card limit, usually anywhere from $50 to $200 per night. And that money becomes untouchable by you. Now, here's the crucial part that alleviates the panic.
Yes, please. Tell us the good news.
If you don't break the television, if you don't smoke in a non-smoking room, and if you don't buy any incidentals, that entire financial hold is released back to your available credit when you check out.
It's just a temporary safety deposit. But man, if you aren't mentally prepared for it, seeing a massive, unexpected charge pending on your banking app can ruin your evening.
That is exactly why truly understanding the C1 word is so empowering for a traveler. It changes the entire power dynamic of the interaction.
When the agent smiles and says the word incidentals, you don't freeze. You don't argue. You just smile back, hand over your card, and say, no problem.
You understand the invisible financial system operating behind the desk. To truly solidify this concept, I think we should actually role-play this scenario.
Oh, I love this exercise. Active listening to natural dialogue is one of the most effective ways to practice natural speaking flow.
So let's imagine you are the exhausted traveler who just dropped off your car, and I am the front desk receptionist.
Okay, I want our listeners to pay close attention, not just to the vocabulary, but to the tone, the specific phrasing of the questions, and how the guest responds naturally.
Let's do it.
Okay, I'm adjusting my mindset. I have my heavy suitcase. I am walking across the marble floor of the lobby. I approach the front desk.
Hi there, welcome to the Marriott. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, just a bit tired from the flight, thank you. I'd like to check in, please.
Of course, we can get you settled right away. And what is the last name on the reservation?
The last name is Schwarzenegger.
Okay, let me look that up in the system. I'm sorry, my system is being a bit slow. How do you spell that last name?
No problem. It's Schwarzenegger.
Thank you so much for that. All right, Mr. Schwarzenegger, I see a reservation right here. I have you staying with us for 2 nights in a standard king room. Before I can program your keys, I'll just need to see your driver's license or passport and a major credit card to keep on file for any incidentals.
Of course. Here is my passport, and here is my credit card.
Excellent. I'm going to have you go ahead and tap your credit card on the payment terminal right in front of you.
Done.
Perfect. The hold went through. Here are your 2-room keys. I have you in room 413 up on the 4th floor. To get there, you'll just go down this main hallway to your left, past the restaurant, and take the glass elevators up. Enjoy your stay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Scene. That was a textbook. Flawless check-in.
If we break that down analytically, what stands out to you, from the guest's perspective, about the mechanics of that exchange?
Well, there are a few subtle things happening there that are brilliant for language learners to study. First, spelling your name clearly and confidently is a super important B2 and C1 survival skill.
Oh, definitely. In English, we pronounce our individual letters very distinctly, and front desk agents rely heavily on that audio cue because global names can be spelled in countless unpredictable ways.
If you mumble the letters, the entire process just halts.
Second, and this is the most interesting part from a linguistic standpoint, notice the specific grammatical structure you used when asking for payment.
Right. I didn't just point at the machine and command, tap your card.
Exactly. That would sound incredibly aggressive and rude in American hospitality. Instead, you used a causative structure. You said, I'm going to have you go ahead and tap your credit card.
Have someone do something. It's a softer, indirect way of giving an instruction.
It is extremely polite and very common in customer service to de-escalate tension. And finally, you didn't just hand me keys, you gave me a spatial map using directional vocabulary.
Down this main hallway to your left, past the restaurant, take the glass elevators up.
That directional language is vital because a hotel is inherently a maze to a new arrival. The interaction at the desk is a dense, high-stakes 60 seconds of language processing.
But once you dissect it and practice it, the mystery disappears. It just becomes second nature.
It really does. Hey, if you are enjoying this everyday English flow, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so we can keep bringing you this daily practice.
Your support allows us to keep unpacking these real-world interactions.
Okay, so the front desk has handed you your key card. You ride the glass elevator to the 4th floor, but once you tap that card and open the door, do you actually know the correct English names for the essential items waiting inside? Let's step into the room.
Okay, here we go. Room 413. This is a universally shared human experience. You tap the little plastic key card, the electronic lock clicks, the little light flashes green, and you push the heavy fireproof door open.
The air conditioning hits you.
And walking into a hotel room follows a very specific ritual. You drop your heavy bags near the closet, you walk over to the window to inspect the view, and then inevitably you turn around and inspect the bed.
Let's start right there with the beds. This is an area where vocabulary is incredibly specific, heavily culturally dependent, and absolutely vital when you're making your booking online weeks in advance.
If you get this vocabulary wrong, your entire trip can be ruined. That is no exaggeration.
The terminology used by the global hospitality industry to describe hotel rooms is almost entirely based on the configuration and size of the beds.
Let's break down the taxonomy of sleep arrangements. At the most basic level, you have a single room,
which is designed explicitly for one solo traveler, usually featuring a smaller, narrower bed.
Right. Then, moving up in size, you have a double room. Now, this is where the language creates massive confusion for international travelers.
Oh, the double room confusion. A double room simply means a room designed to accommodate 2 people. But in standard hotel parlance, it usually implies that those 2 people will be sharing one large bed.
And that assumption of sharing a bed can lead to incredibly awkward situations.
What if you were traveling to a business conference with a colleague from work? You are a startup on a budget, you want to share the cost of a single room, but you absolutely, under no circumstances, want to sleep in the same bed as your coworker.
If you accidentally book a double room, you're going to walk in, see one bed, and panic.
So what is the precise vocabulary word you need to avoid this nightmare scenario?
In that exact scenario, you must specifically search for and book a twin room. A twin room guarantees multiple beds, almost always 2 separate, distinct beds.
Think about the etymology of the word twin. It implies 2 distinct, identical things born at the same time. In furniture terminology, it means 2 identical beds placed in one room.
Usually separated by a nightstand. It's important to note the physical dimensions, though. The beds themselves, known as twin beds, are significantly narrower, designed for a single person each.
It is the perfect arrangement for friends, siblings, or colleagues.
But what if you're not on a budget? What if you want a luxury?
If you are on a honeymoon or an executive retreat, you book a suite, S-U-I-T-E. It is visually spelled like a business suit with an E tacked onto the end, but it is phonetically pronounced exactly like the word sweet, as in sugar or candy.
A suite isn't just a room. It is essentially an entire apartment built inside the hotel infrastructure.
It strictly separates the sleeping area from a dedicated living space. It will feature a living room area with a sofa, armchairs, and sometimes even a small kitchenette.
But even if you don't book a massive suite, for most standard luxury stays, especially in the American hospitality market, the absolute gold standard of comfort is the king-size bed.
Ah, the king-size bed. A massive, sprawling piece of furniture, significantly wider and longer than a standard double or queen bed, designed to offer maximum physical comfort and personal space.
The prevalence of the king-size bed is a fascinating reflection of American consumer culture bleeding into hospitality. Bigger is always perceived as better.
So true. Once you've inspected the mattress, it's time to take inventory of the room systems. A modern hotel room is a marvel of compressed utility. It is essentially a micro apartment.
It has to contain everything a human being needs to survive, work, groom themselves, and relax, all within roughly 300 square feet.
You've got your desk, your television, the remote control, the safe in the closet, the ironing board, the iron, the hangers, the luggage cart, and of course the outlets or sockets where you plug in your adapter.
However, having access to these systems is useless if you don't understand the cultural rules of how to operate them. And 2 of the most historically confusing systems in any hotel room involve the regulation of temperature.
The temperature of your food and the temperature of the air. Let's start with the food.
You walk over to a sleek wooden cabinet, usually built directly under the television. You pull the handle, and inside there is a small refrigerator humming quietly.
Ah, yes, the refrigerator trap. This is a vital cultural and vocabulary distinction that we must explore deeply.
As a traveler, you look at this appliance and you need to know, what is the true difference between a mini fridge and a mini bar?
Visually, from the outside, they might look like the exact same piece of machinery. They are both small cooling cubes. But functionally, and more importantly, financially, they belong to completely different universes.
It is a trap that catches thousands of travelers every single day. Let's define the terms clearly. A mini fridge is exactly what it sounds like. A miniature refrigerator that is provided completely empty.
The hotel provides this appliance as a courtesy so that you, the guest, can store your own personal items. If you have leftover pizza or a medication that needs to be kept cold, you place it in the mini fridge. It is a free, expected amenity.
A mini bar, on the other hand, is not a tool for your convenience. It is a highly optimized retail environment designed to extract money from you when your willpower is lowest.
A mini bar is heavily stocked by the hotel staff. When you open that glass door, it is beautifully, seductively arranged with expensive beverages, premium bottled water, imported sodas, artisanal juices.
And right above the cooling unit, there will often be an ambient temperature tray of snacks, high-end chocolates, salted nuts, gourmet chips.
The critical rule is this. If you consume anything from the mini bar ecosystem, it costs extra money. This ties directly back to our first C1 word from the front desk, incidentals.
The mini bar is historically the most common and most lucrative source of incidental charges for a hotel, and the pricing model is notoriously outrageous.
You might wake up incredibly thirsty in the middle of the night, grab a bottle of water thinking it might be complimentary, and suddenly you are charged $10 for a generic bottle of water.
Furthermore, the technology governing these minibars has evolved aggressively. Many modern luxury hotels are now equipped with automated digital weight sensors beneath every single item.
Oh my goodness, I have fallen victim to the weight sensors. It is a high-tech incidental trap. Here is how it works. You open the fridge, not to eat their food, but because you want to put your own leftover apple inside.
But the fridge is entirely full of their products.
Right. So you pick up their $12 chocolate bar, move it to the side to make room for your apple. The instant you lift that chocolate bar off its designated pressure pad, the computer system registers the item as consumed.
And it automatically, instantly adds the $12 charge to your room bill.
Even if you put the chocolate bar back exactly where it was 5 seconds later, the sensor is already tripped. You then have to spend 20 minutes arguing with the front desk when you check out, trying to explain that you didn't eat the chocolate, you just moved it.
It is exhausting. The overarching rule is, if you see items prearranged inside the small refrigerator, always assume it is a hypersensitive mini bar. Do not touch anything.
Now let's move our attention from the temperature of your drinks to the temperature of the room itself. This requires us to master our second major C1 vocabulary word of the deep dive.
Thermostat.
Thermostat. This little beige plastic box mounted on the wall is responsible for so much international frustration and ruined sleep.
A thermostat is a device that automatically regulates the ambient temperature of an environment. It controls the AC, the air conditioning, or the central heating system.
Grammatically, it functions as a standard noun. You might say, if the room is too cold for you, you can adjust the temperature using the thermostat on the wall. However, the reason this specific device causes so much profound frustration, particularly for international travelers visiting the United States, has nothing to do with the English language.
It has entirely to do with the measurement system the device uses to display numbers.
Fahrenheit, yes. This is the ultimate culture shock. Almost the entire global scientific community uses the Celsius scale. It is deeply logical. Water freezes at 0, boils at 100.
But in America, we stubbornly cling to the Fahrenheit scale.
So an exhausted traveler from Europe walks into their room, looks at the digital display on the thermostat, sees the bright red number 72, and experiences a moment of sheer panic because their brain thinks the room is set to literally boil them alive.
It is a completely understandable moment of cognitive dissonance. For context, 72 degrees Fahrenheit is considered a very neutral, comfortable room temperature in America. It's roughly equivalent to a pleasant 22 degrees Celsius.
If you're feeling warm and you want the room cooler, you press the down arrow and lower the number on the thermostat to maybe 68.
Which perfectly transitions us into the practical application of our next phrasal verbs. You are standing at the thermostat. If you press the up arrow to change the temperature from 68 to 74, what are you physically doing?
You are trying to heat up the room. Heat up? Heat up means to cause something to become warmer. You could say, turn on the central heater to heat up the room.
And it is a versatile phrase. You can also use it for food. I need to heat up this cold pizza in the microwave.
And conversely, if it is August in Miami and the room feels like a sauna, you want to cool down the room.
Let's look at another highly relevant spatial phrasal verb that is essential for organizing the bedroom area.
Hang up.
Hang up. Inside the closet of your room, you will almost certainly find a row of hangers. These are the curved plastic or wooden devices equipped with a hook at the top used to suspend your clothes.
To hang up means to place an item of clothing onto one of these hooks so that it drapes freely and avoids wrinkling.
For example, you arrive, open your suitcase, and say, I need to hang up my business suits in the closet right away so they don't get permanently wrinkled. Now, analytically, hang up is a separable phrasal verb functioning under the exact same grammatical rules as drop off from earlier. You can say hang your clothes up, or you can say hang up your clothes. Both flow perfectly.
It is worth pausing to note the context dependency here. Advanced English learners know that the phrasal verb hang up is most famously used in the context of telecommunications.
Right. Referring to abruptly ending a telephone call, as in we were having an argument and he just hung up on me.
But when you change the context to the physical space of a hotel room closet, the telecommunication meaning vanishes, and it refers exclusively to the physical organization and storage of clothing. Context dictates definition.
You've successfully navigated the micro apartment, you've unpacked your suitcase, you've hung up your clothes, you haven't touched the $12 chocolate bar. You've adjusted the confusing Fahrenheit thermostat to 72 degrees.
You are settling in. But there is a specific, highly prestigious English word used almost exclusively in real estate and hospitality to describe hotel bathrooms. If you drop this specific word in conversation, you instantly sound like a seasoned, sophisticated traveler. What is it? Let's watch up and find out.
As we transition from the bedroom area into the bathroom, we encounter a piece of specialized vocabulary that truly separates the intermediate English speaker from the advanced global traveler. The word is ensuite. E-N-S-U-I-T-E, ensuite.
It sounds so incredibly sophisticated rolling off the tongue. Ensuite. It's borrowed directly from the French language, where it literally translates to in sequence or afterward.
Well, when imported into English hospitality, it developed a very rigid, specific definition. Ensuite functions primarily as an adjective and sometimes as a standalone noun. It describes a bathroom that is directly physically connected to a specific bedroom and, crucially, is accessed only from within that private bedroom.
Let's put that into an example sentence. A discerning guest might call a boutique hotel and say, I am looking at your floor plans and I want to ensure I specifically book a room with an ensuite bathroom for extra privacy.
Or, in a real estate context, an agent might gesture to a door and say, and here, the master bedroom features a recently renovated, massive ensuite.
Now, we have to ask why this word is so culturally important. Why do we need a special French term for a bathroom?
Because historically, and even today in European hostels or traditional bed and breakfast, plumbing was centralized. You might have a private bedroom, but you would have to walk out into a public hallway and share a communal bathroom with strangers.
By specifically confirming that your accommodation has an ensuite, you are guaranteeing that you have a private attached sanctuary. It is a vocabulary word that literally purchases privacy.
It isn't just a word, it is an architectural barrier. Okay, so we are standing inside our private ensuite. What do we see?
Spread out beautifully on the marble counter next to the sink, you will usually find a curated collection of small branded bottles. Collectively, these are known as your toiletries.
Let's categorize the functional purpose of these toiletries. Next to the sink, you will almost certainly find hand soap, which might be a solid bar or a liquid pump used strictly for washing hands. Beside it, there will be hand lotion or moisturizer.
Moving into the shower itself, you have the holy trinity of hair and body care. Shampoo, a specialized liquid detergent for washing hair. Conditioner, a thicker cream applied after shampooing for detangling. And body wash, a fragrant liquid soap designed for the skin.
And then there is the textile hierarchy, the physical linens. A hotel bathroom is fiercely judged by the thickness, softness, and quality of its towels.
There is a strict sizing taxonomy. You have the large, heavy bath towels used for drying your entire body after a shower. You have the smaller hand towels folded neatly next to the sink for drying your hands. And then, usually rolled into little cylinders, you have the washcloths.
The washcloths. These represent a fascinating cultural touchpoint in global hygiene practices. In the United States, a washcloth, which is a very small, square piece of absorbent terry cloth towel, is universally expected in any hotel bathroom. Americans traditionally use them in the shower to physically scrub and exfoliate their skin.
However, in many parts of Europe, Asia, and South America, the cultural concept of using a communal shared face or body cloth, even if it has been heavily laundered by the hotel, is considered unappealing.
In those cultures, guests are generally expected to use a personal sponge they brought from home, or simply to lather the soap using their bare hands. Because of this, international travelers visiting America are often confused by the stack of tiny square towels.
While American travelers abroad are frequently annoyed when they step into a European shower and find no washcloths provided, it is a perfect example of how cultural assumptions are woven into everyday objects.
Moving past the linens, you will usually find extra rolls of toilet paper stored discreetly under the sink. And mounted on the wall, you will find a hairdryer or blow dryer.
From a vocabulary standpoint, these two terms are completely 100% interchangeable in conversational English.
Finally, you step into the shower itself. You pull back the heavy glass shower door. Many modern hotels have entirely abandoned the unhygienic plastic shower curtain, and you reach up to turn on the shower head, the metal nozzle that physically sprays the water.
Now, if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, all of these individual things, the privacy of the ensuite, the high-end shampoo, the Egyptian cotton towels, these are all specific examples of a much broader, incredibly important C1 noun that drives the entire hospitality economy. The word is amenities.
Amenities. We hear this word constantly. Every commercial boasts, "Come enjoy our world-class amenities." But what exactly does it mean conceptually, and how does it differ from a much simpler word like facilities?
Right. If I'm an English learner, why do I need both words?
It is a subtle but fundamentally important distinction in business English. Facilities is an architectural term. It usually refers to the hard, physical buildings, rooms, or large structural areas provided for a particular functional purpose.
Like, the building that holds the exercise equipment is the gym facility. The concrete hole filled with water is the pool facility. There are structural necessities.
Amenities, however, is a much broader, softer, and more psychological term. It refers to any desirable or useful feature, service, or consumable item provided specifically to increase the guest's comfort, convenience, or enjoyment. Amenities are the luxury layer applied on top of the facilities.
Ah, I see the matrix now. So the physical room with the rubber floor and the heavy metal weights is the fitness facility, but the fact that the hotel provides a cooler full of free cucumber-infused water and chilled eucalyptus towels, those are the amenities within the facility.
Exactly. The expensive shampoo in the ensuite is an amenity. The high-speed Wi-Fi that actually works is a massive amenity. Facilities are what the hotel is. Amenities are how the hotel makes you feel.
Amenities encompass both physical luxury items and intangible services. And historically, there has been a massive arms race among hotel chains to offer the best amenities, specifically designed to capture the frequent business traveler.
Let's step out of the bedroom and look at some of the major amenities you might find in the wider hotel ecosystem. Let's start with the classic, the swimming pool.
Now, the geography and climate of the United States heavily dictate the architectural nature of this amenity. If you are staying at a resort in Florida or Texas, where the weather is hot all year round, you will likely find an expansive outdoor pool surrounded by lounge chairs and palm trees.
But if you are traveling for business in a northern city, say Chicago or Cincinnati, Ohio, the environmental reality is totally different. The winters there are brutally cold and snowy. An outdoor pool would be frozen solid.
So in these states, architects design indoor pools. They are completely enclosed in heated, climate-controlled glass rooms so that guests can swim in 80-degree water, even when there is a massive blizzard raging outside the windows.
Another crucial, arguably the most crucial amenity for the modern business traveler is the fitness center or the gym. For many corporate road warriors, the quality of the gym is often the single deciding factor in choosing which hotel to book.
Inside the fitness center facility, you will find cardiovascular exercise machines like treadmills, stationary bikes, and ellipticals, as well as a section dedicated to free weights for strength training.
And stepping into this specific environment introduces our next two essential phrasal verbs, starting with the action itself, work out.
To work out means to actively engage in strenuous physical exercise or training. It is a two-word phrasal verb. You might tell your colleague at the conference, "I like to work out in the hotel gym before breakfast to clear my head."
It is critically important for English learners to note the spelling difference between the verb action and the noun concept. The verb describing the action is two separate words. Work space out. The noun describing the session of exercise is one solid, combined word, workout.
So you could construct a sentence that uses both correctly. I had a fantastic workout today because I decided to work out at 6 a.m.
That structural distinction is vital for written English. And if you are actively working out in a communal, shared space like a hotel gym, you are culturally obligated to follow strict gym etiquette. Which brings us to the necessary hygiene phrasal verb, wipe down, wipe down.
Now let's analyze the mechanics of this phrase. Why do we say wipe down? Why not just use the simple verb wipe? If I have a towel, I am wiping the machine. Why do we need to attach the spatial particle down to it?
That is a fantastic linguistic question. In English phrasal verbs, adding the particle down or up often completely changes the intensity of the verb. It emphasizes completeness, thoroughness, and finality.
If you just tell someone to wipe a table, they might just casually swipe a cloth across the center of it once and walk away.
Yeah.
It is a lazy action.
But if you instruct someone to wipe down a machine, the addition of down implies a comprehensive cleaning process. It implies you are cleaning the entire surface area, starting from the top and working your way to the bottom, meticulously removing all the sweat, oils, and bacteria left behind.
The standard etiquette sentence would be, please be respectful and always wipe down the exercise machines in the fitness center after you finish using them.
That makes perfect sense. The particle adds the intensity of the chore. And we have to ask ourselves, why do people go through all this tremendous effort? Why wake up at 5:30 a.m., go to a strange gym, sweat, work out, and meticulously wipe down machines while living out of a suitcase on a business trip?
The psychology behind this behavior is perfectly captured by a very common native idiom. They are desperately trying to stick to their routine.
Let's break down the psychology of that idiom. To stick to something means to adhere to it firmly, to refuse to abandon it, like glue holding two pieces of wood together. A routine is your normal, established sequence of daily actions and habits.
So sticking to your routine means fighting to maintain your regular daily habits, your exercise, your diet, your sleep schedule, even though your physical environment has completely radically changed.
Travel is inherently chaotic. It disrupts your sleep cycle, it forces you to eat restaurant food, and it destroys your time management. The high-end hotel gym amenity exists specifically as a psychological anchor.
It allows guests to stick to their routine, exert some control over their day, and feel a comforting sense of normalcy amidst the chaos of travel.
It's a fascinating look at the psychology of hospitality. Hotels aren't just selling beds, they are selling the illusion of uninterrupted routine.
After your workout, you might wander out of the gym facility, exhausted but happy, and find yourself standing on an upper atrium terrace. An atrium is a spectacular architectural feature. It is a massive, large, open-air space inside the center of a building, often rising several stories high and capped with a giant glass skylight.
Hotels absolutely love building atriums because they manipulate your sense of scale. They make the building feel massive, breathable, and incredibly luxurious. You can stand on the terrace, which is a balcony-like area protruding into the empty space lean on the railing, and look down at all the miniature people walking on the floors far below.
It is a commanding view. You've successfully utilized the amenities, you've maintained your routine, you've enjoyed the private luxury of the en-suite. But eventually, the biological reality of travel sets in. Eventually, you have to eat, and eventually the contract expires, and you have to leave the building.
How do you navigate the menus to find free food without sounding demanding? And what is the absolute most crucial timing logistical rule you must not break on your final day? We cover the complex systems of dining and departures next.
Food. The ultimate motivator. After a long, exhausting day of air travel or after a hard, calorie-burning workout in the fitness center, genuine hunger sets in. Navigating hotel dining options requires knowing not just what physical spaces are available, but more importantly, decoding the language to understand what is actually included in your prepaid room rate versus what is going to hit your credit card as a massive incidental charge.
Generally speaking, a large full-service hotel will have a dedicated restaurant on the ground floor for formal sit-down meals with waiters and a separate bar or lounge area for alcoholic drinks and casual socialization.
But if you are simply too exhausted to put your business shoes back on and leave the sanctuary of that king-size bed, you rely on the ultimate classic hotel luxury, room service.
Room service is a specialized operational amenity where you can order customized food and drinks from a menu and have a staff member deliver them directly to your private room on a silver cart.
The mechanics are simple. You typically pick up the landline room phone on the nightstand, dial a specific single-digit number listed on a printed menu, and verbally place your order with the kitchen. You can order breakfast, lunch, or a late-night dinner.
If you aren't incredibly hungry, you might just order a few appetizers. Appetizers are small introductory dishes served before the main course, specifically designed to stimulate your appetite. Think of a plate of artisanal flatbreads, a small Caesar salad, or shrimp cocktail.
However, it is vital to understand the economics of room service. It is notoriously astronomically expensive. You are not just paying the menu price for the food, you are paying a built-in delivery fee, a mandatory automatic gratuity for the runner, and state taxes. A basic hamburger can easily cost $35.
Which makes finding free food an absolute strategic priority for many travelers, especially families on a budget. And that quest for free food brings us to one of the most beloved, yet frequently misspelled and misunderstood, C1 adjectives in the entire English language: complimentary.
Now, listen closely, because spelling matters here. C-O-M-P-L-I-M-E-N-T-A-R-Y. Complimentary. Wait, no. I always get this wrong in my head. There is another word that sounds exactly the same, and this is exactly why it is classified as a high-level C1 word. It is a homophone trap.
Let's clarify this incredibly common point of confusion for our listeners, because using the wrong one in written business English looks highly unprofessional. There are two distinct words that sound phonetically identical. They're pronounced exactly the same way, but they have different spellings and completely fundamentally different meanings.
The first word is complimentary, spelled with an E in the middle. P-L-E-M-E-N-T.
This word originates from the concept of completion. It means two different things that complete each other, enhance each other, or go exceptionally well together. In art, you talk about complementary colors on the color wheel, like blue and orange, that make each other pop.
In mathematics, you have a complementary angle in geometry that completes a 90-degree right angle.
Yeah.
Two business partners with different skill sets might have a complementary working relationship.
But the word we desperately want to see on a hotel sign is complimentary, spelled with an I in the middle. P-L-I-M-E-N-T.
Now, if you walk up to a friend and give them a compliment with an I, you are verbally saying nice, flattering things to them to boost their ego. I love your new shirt. You have great hair. You gave a wonderful presentation.
But in the specific structured context of corporate hospitality, the adjective complimentary does not mean the hotel staff is going to stand around in the lobby telling you how handsome or smart you are. In this commercial context, it has a rigid financial definition. It means the item or service is given or supplied entirely free of charge.
Exactly. It is a highly sophisticated, polite corporate euphemism for free. Why do your hotels use a long, difficult word instead of just saying free? It is entirely about psychological framing and brand prestige.
The word free sounds cheap. It implies that the item has low inherent value or costs the hotel nothing to produce. If a luxury hotel offers free breakfast, it sounds like a cheap motel.
But complimentary sounds like a generous, gracious gift from a wealthy host. It implies that the breakfast is highly valuable, but the hotel is choosing to waive the cost and gift it to you as a compliment to your excellent patronage.
So an example sentence you might read on your booking confirmation would be, guests booking with Executive Club Access receive a complimentary hot breakfast every morning of their stay.
Yes, the legendary complimentary breakfast. This is a massive deciding draw for traveling families and budget-conscious business travelers alike. It saves hundreds of dollars over the course of a trip.
But there are strict operational rules you must obey. You have to know the precise breakfast hours. In standard American hotels, the breakfast service usually runs very early to accommodate the corporate schedule, often starting around 6:00 or 6:30 a.m. and ending strictly abruptly at 10 a.m.
If you sleep in and show up at 10:05 a.m., the heavy wooden doors are closed, the scrambled eggs are gone, the lights are off, and the coffee station is packed away. They do not bend the rules.
In higher-end, luxury, or large corporate hotels, this complimentary breakfast might not be served in the main lobby restaurant. It might be served in a specialized, secluded area, sometimes come in an M Club or an executive lounge.
This requires a special, high-tier keycard tap to even open the door. It is designed to feel exclusive. Inside, away from the crowds, they serve high-quality hot foods like made-to-order eggs, pancakes, and sausage, along with a dedicated barista coffee bar.
If you do not have access to that lounge, if you missed the strict 10:00 a.m. cutoff for the complimentary breakfast, and you just want to find something quick, casual, and relatively cheap to eat, you wouldn't stand in the lobby and formally announce, "I am going to the restaurant to dine."
That sounds incredibly stiff and robotic. To sound perfectly fluent, you would use a very natural, highly common native idiom, grab a bite to eat.
Grab a bite to eat. This specific phrase is absolutely essential for sounding socially fluent and relaxed in American English. Let's analyze the components. To grab literally means to take hold of something suddenly, forcefully, or roughly with your hands.
But in modern colloquial English, to grab food or grab a coffee has lost that aggressive physicality. It simply means to go acquire it casually, quickly, and without much formal planning.
A bite is a metaphor representing a small, manageable amount of food. So when you turn to your colleague and say, "Let's go down to the restaurant to grab a bite to eat," the direct cultural translation is, "Let's go get some food to satisfy our hunger, but let's ensure it is a quick, casual process without it being a long, formal, stressful dining event."
It's the perfect social phrase. Hey, I'm hungry. Do you want to grab a bite? It instantly lowers the stakes of the invitation and makes you sound like you've been speaking conversational English your entire life.
But what if you don't want to grab a bite? What if you are exhausted? You stayed up late working on a presentation, you finally fell asleep, and the absolute last thing you want is the hotel staff aggressively knocking on your door at 8 a.m., shouting housekeeping while you are trying to rest.
This is where you must utilize one of the most powerful, universally respected tools available in the hotel room, the Do Not Disturb sign. This is usually a small, printed cardboard or plastic placard designed to be hung on the outside handle of your bedroom door.
In the global hospitality industry, this sign is treated with absolute, almost sacred respect. It is a legally protective barrier. If that sign is hanging on the door, housekeeping, which is the collective term for the maid service staff responsible for cleaning and sanitizing the rooms, will bypass your room entirely.
They will not knock, they will not announce their presence, and they will absolutely not open the door to enter. They will leave you in total peace.
It is a magical shield. But you can't leave that sign on the door forever. The contract eventually expires. Your trip concludes. It is time for the final, inevitable process, the departure. And this entire logistical process revolves around our final major phrasal verb of the deep dive, checkout.
Checkout is the exact operational and linguistic inverse of check-in. When you check in at the beginning of your journey, you arrive, you provide your identifying details, you establish a line of credit for incidentals, and you receive your keys to the property.
When you check out at the end of your stay, you must return to the front desk, formally announce your departure, review your final itemized bill, carefully checking for any of those sneaky mini-bore incidentals we discussed, pay the final financial balance, and physically or digitally return your room keys, thereby relinquishing your right to the space.
The example sentence is simple and definitive. Our flight is at noon, so it's time to pack our bags, check out at the front desk, and pay the bill.
The most critical, stress-inducing aspect of checking out is the timing. Every single hotel on Earth enforces a strict checkout time, which is usually mandated between 10:00 a.m. and 11:00 a.m.
But wait a minute, let's think critically about this timeline. Think back to the very beginning of this deep dive. We mentioned during the arrival that the normal, guaranteed check-in time for a new guest isn't until 3:00 p.m. or 4:00 p.m. in the afternoon.
Why is there a massive, frustrating 5-hour gap between when one guest is forced to leave and the next guest is legally allowed to enter the exact same room? Why can't I just stay until 3:00 p.m.?
That 5-hour window is not arbitrary. It is the logistical heartbeat of the entire hotel operation. It is a massive, daily industrial reset. When a guest finally leaves a room at 11:00 a.m., that room is usually in a state of complete chaos.
The bed is unmade and tangled, wet towels are piled on the bathroom floor, the trash cans are full, the coffee maker is dirty, and the amenities are depleted. The housekeeping department requires that massive block of time to deploy a small army of staff to meticulously clean, sanitize, and reset hundreds of rooms simultaneously.
They have to vacuum the carpets, strip and replace all the heavy linens, scrub the ensuite bathrooms, replace the tiny bottles of shampoo, and restock the minibar. They absolutely need those 5 uninterrupted hours to physically reset the building to factory conditions for the next wave of arrivals.
Which perfectly explains why asking for a late checkout is such a delicate, often fraught request. A late checkout is exactly what it sounds like. It is formally asking the front desk for special permission to stay in your room past the official 11:00 a.m. deadline, maybe pushing your departure to 1:00 p.m. or 2:00 p.m. because you have a late afternoon flight and don't want to sit in the lobby.
Guests very often demand a late checkout aggressively, as if it is their inherent right because they paid for the room. But if you look at it from the hotel management's perspective, allowing you to stay late actively sabotages that delicate, highly choreographed 5-hour housekeeping schedule.
If you refuse to leave until 2:00 p.m., the maids now only have an impossible 2-hour window to deeply clean the room before the new paying guest arrives at the desk at 4 p.m. expecting a spotless environment. It creates a cascade of operational delays.
So understanding that you are asking them to break their operational system, how do you ask for it politely to maximize your chances of getting a yes? You absolutely do not walk up and declare, "I am checking out late." That will instantly make the staff defensive.
You approach the front desk, ideally the night before your departure, not the morning of, and you use polite, indirect, differential phrasing. You smile and say, "Is it possible to request a late checkout for tomorrow?" Or, even softer, "Would you happen to have any availability for a late checkout?"
By explicitly asking if it is possible, you linguistically acknowledge that you are asking for a special favor, an exception to the rules, and not demanding a guarantee.
That phrasing shows empathy for their operational constraints, which makes them much more likely to accommodate you if they can. If the late checkout is granted, wonderful. When you finally do arrive at the desk to check out, the receptionist will go through a final, formalized script.
They will ask, "What was your room number?" You reply 4131. They will ask the mandatory customer service question, "And how was everything with your stay?" You say, "It was amazing, thank you."
They will process your final payment on the credit card they already have on file, release the hold on your incidentals, and ask, "Would you like a printed copy of your receipt, or should I just email it to you?" Once you make your choice, the transaction is completely finalized. They will look at you, smile, wish you safe travels, and you are officially done. The contract is closed.
You take a deep breath. You walk out the sliding glass doors. You hand your digital QR code to grant the valet. You pick up your car, and you drive away. You are finally truly fluent in the hidden language of hotels. You are ready to travel anywhere in the world without fear. But wait, I promised you a special bonus tip at the very beginning of this deep dive. What is the modern, high-tech, frictionless way to tip your housekeeper before you walk out the door? Stay with us for the final reveal.
Before we get to the technology, I want you to pause and think philosophically about how deeply language shapes our physical environment and our emotional state. The exact moment you master and internalize words like incidentals and amenities, a hotel fundamentally transforms.
It changes from a confusing, stressful, financially dangerous maze into a playground designed entirely for your personal comfort. Your expanded vocabulary literally upgrades your real-world physical experience.
You no longer walk into a grand lobby carrying the heavy burden of anxiety. You walk in with authority and belonging. You understand the invisible, complex systems operating behind the scenes, the credit card holds designed to protect the hotel, the intricate housekeeping schedules dictating the checkout times, the specific terminology that differentiates the beds and the bathrooms.
You aren't just memorizing dry dictionary definitions. You are acquiring the cultural keys to seamless, confident global travel.
That is exactly right. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
The anxiety vanishes the moment the mystery is gone. When you know how the machine works, you aren't afraid of the machine anymore.
And speaking of removing friction from the travel experience, here is your promised bonus tip for staying with us through this deep dive. In the past, if you wanted to leave a financial tip for the housekeeping staff, to express gratitude and thank them for beautifully cleaning your ensuite, making your bed, and replacing your complimentary amenities, you had a logistical problem.
You had to frantically dig through your luggage, scramble to find physical paper cash, and leave a $5 bill on the desk. But in today's digital economy, carrying physical cash is becoming increasingly rare. Travelers just don't have small bills anymore.
It is widely believed by hospitality experts and industry analysts that the rapid shift to digital cashless gratuities is the permanent future of the service industry. The friction of paper money is being eliminated.
Exactly. So, in modern American hotels, you no longer need to feel guilty about not having physical cash to leave on the pillow. Many major hotel chains now place a small, beautifully printed card in the room, perhaps resting on the desk, on the nightstand, or near the TV, with a unique QR code printed on it.
The card will usually feature a friendly message like, say thanks to your team, tip your housekeeper. You can simply take out your smartphone, open the camera, scan that QR code, and it'll take you to a secure, encrypted web page.
There, you can leave a digital tip of any amount using your credit card or a digital wallet like Apple Pay. It is brilliant. It ensures that the hardworking staff who physically labored behind the scenes to make your stay comfortable are rewarded directly, instantly, and securely, even if you don't have a single dollar bill in your pocket as you rush out to catch your flight.
It is a perfect, elegant convergence of modern financial technology and traditional human-centered hospitality. And to prove to us, and more importantly, to prove to yourself, that you are deeply dedicated to mastering this everyday English flow, I want you to take an action right now.
Go down to the comments section of this platform, write the second, and write the exact phrase. I am consistent in the comment box. Consistency is the only true, proven path to genuine language fluency. By typing and committing to that specific statement, you are taking active psychological ownership of your own language journey.
We read those comments, and we are so incredibly proud of the progress you are making every single time you join us. If this deep dive helped illuminate your English journey today, if it gave you that aha moment of clarity, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to build this resource together.
The next time you pull your rental car up to a massive, imposing hotel, we know for a fact you won't freeze up. You won't panic at the desk. You'll calmly hand over your keys, expertly drop off your car, stride through those front doors with perfect posture, and be completely ready to take on the world. Safe travels out there, and we will see you next time.